for those kinds of events coming up here in the fall for our sophomores as well. But I'm really lucky to get to do what I do. It's my third school year here. And I love it here. So, Mary Ellen, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, like Grant said, I am Mary Ellen. I am the administrative assistant to public relations and recruitment. I am in my fifth school year here. I am also a former DACC parent. My daughter completed the cosmetology program in 2020. Absolutely love what I do, love connecting families and students to DACC. So happy to be here. I will be in the background. I'll have my camera off and my microphone off. If you have questions, throw those in the Q&A, and I will answer them as we go along. If it is something we're going to cover, I'll let you know to hang tight. Grant's going to cover that shortly, okay? But I will see you all in the Q&A.
Yeah, Mary, this is going to be a rolling discussion. Mary Ellen's going to be, as she said, kind of in the background. Being super helpful with like sending you links and dropping information in there. So between Mary Ellen and myself, we aim to answer every question you have today, or at least point you in the right direction to get answers. Just to let you know, we are recording this session right here. So we will, once this session ends, if you are on this call right now, you are automatically registered to be a part of our Explore newsletter. That's our free email newsletter that we send out. My team sends out once a month, give or take. And this newsletter is for families who are interested in the ACC. So if you're on this call right now, we're assuming that's probably you. We have families in that Explore newsletter mailing list of elementary school students, middle school students, high school students. It is the best place to receive information on how to come and see us, how to explore our labs and our academic spaces. And so you're going to be automatically added to that list. So you will get an automated email telling you welcome to the Explore newsletter from the ACC. It is going to very clearly be an automated email. We want to let you know that when you respond to that email, we are on the other side of it. So there are actual humans who are on the other side of that email who are going to receive your response and be able to connect with you one-on-one individually. And so just want you to know that we are always going to be here for you to answer questions and point you towards resources and opportunities. The second thing I want to mention, as I said, we are recording this session today. So if you are someone like a lot of our parents will get on these calls and they will have this on the background while they're doing a million other things, right? And so if you want to return to this session and go back and find information you might have missed during this session, this presentation, we will be recording this and we will be sending a copy of this recording to you afterwards. So just make sure to look for that in the next couple of days in your email inbox. We will have a copy of this recording for you. Okay. So we are going to get going. As Mary Ellen said, please use the Q&A function to ask questions as we go. We would love to answer them as we go. We are going to essentially take the next 45 minutes or so and walk you through the nuts and bolts of what it is to be a DACC student, kind of what we offer here, the programs we have, all the logistical items that are really important to know if you're thinking about DACC or if you just want to know more about it. What makes the DACC experience kind of different from a normal high school classroom learning experience. And then we're going to reserve some time at the end where we can just do question answer. We had another virtual session like this on Tuesday night, and we left about 30 minutes at the end, and it was really great to be able to just answer everyone's questions right there, as well as along the way to kind of give us an opportunity to think about things that we've written down or need clarity on throughout the session. So we will reserve some time at the end for that. Just want to let you know, obviously today we are not seeing our labs in person. In our opinion at DACC, the best way to really learn more about us and what we're all about is to come and see us in person. We would love to have you and your family out. We have a lot of opportunities to do that. So as you can see on this screen, we have group family tours. We have 4 more of these family tours coming up this school year. These are times, it's normally on a Friday afternoon. We have one coming up in December, one in January, one in February, one in March. And these are really great opportunities for families, students of all ages to come in and get more of an individualized tour experience. We have several options for tours you can take of our building, seeing different kinds of labs, experiencing different career neighborhoods in our building. And so we highly encourage you to go on our website and sign up for one of these if you're interested in seeing us. Our open house is also coming up. It's on December 11th this year. It's an evening open house, 4:30 to 7:30. There's more information on our website, on our open house page. This is a fantastic night in our building. Again, it's open for students and families of all ages. And this is, all 30 of our labs are going to be open and represented on that night. We'll have our teachers and our students there to talk about their labs, and so you can really see them in person. It's a really great night in our building. It's very high energy. We'll have food trucks, and so we highly encourage you to come out to our community open house, in December this year. Not listed on this page, but accessible to sophomores who are enrolled in one of our 12 partner high schools, and we'll flash those up on the screen here in a little bit. We have sophomore visit days coming up. This is in about a month from now, November 21st, 24th, 25th of this year, where students from our 12 public partner high schools will be able to go on a school-sponsored field trip from their high school to DACC. This is a great opportunity just for those students who are interested in DACC sophomores to do hands-on learning with our students and staff in two labs of their choice. They get to spend the whole school day with us. Each school has a day that they are coming out to the ACC, a specific day. So if you're the parent of a sophomore in this group, we'd highly encourage you to check in with them and make sure they're scheduled, they're registered to go on this field trip. It's an optional field trip. And the registration deadline is tomorrow. So if you're, again, a sophomore parent, make sure your student is registered to attend that with their school. We'd love to have them out, and it's a really, really fun day in our building and a great time to figure out if DACC might be a fit for you as a student, right? And that leads right into our application timeline, which we'll get to here in a little bit. A couple more things. Our website's a fantastic resource. We have 30 programs here at DACC. Each of those programs for high school students, each of those programs has its own page on our website. Very detailed information on there about the curriculum, credentials earned. There are videos where you can hear students and staff talking about these labs. Very in-depth resource for you to gain more information on each one of our labs individually. Would highly encourage you to check that out. And then your school counselor. We have fantastic relationships and partnerships with our partner public high schools in Delaware County and Northern Franklin County. Your counselor at your home high school will likely know us very well. They'll be able to give you information on us as well. So please lean on your homeschool counselors as a resource on us also. Okay. All right. We are going to get going. So who are we and what do we do? What is DACC? So we'll go through kind of 13 fast facts on us first and foremost. So we are, and hold on just a second. I'm going to make sure we're on track here. Good. Okay. We are located, sorry about that, on US 23 in Delaware. We are right about the Delaware-Lewis Center line. If you've seen us before, this is what we look like off of the highway off 23 up top there. Big blue and white building. This building was built in 2019. It's 6 years old. We used to have two campuses. So if you've been in Delaware County for a while, you might remember we had a north and a south campus. In 2019, we consolidated and combined those campuses into one. We moved them all of our labs down to that south campus and built out this big, beautiful facility that we get to learn in now. Again, it's 6 years old, and it's located kind of right in the heart of Delaware County. Our school is home to students from across our region. Okay, so one of the cool things about going to DACC, and I'll put our map up on here on the screen, is you're not just learning every day alongside students from your home high school or your home community. We have students at DACC from 12 plus partner high schools. We have students from all four Olentangy high schools: Delaware Hayes, Buckeye Valley, Big Walnut, both of the Worthington City high schools, Kilbourne and Thomas, all three Westerville City high schools, Central, North, and South. We have students from private schools, students who are homeschooled. It is a big district that feeds into our building, our campus every day. One of the really cool things about that is, if you're a student at DACC, you're one of 25, give or take, in your lab. And of those 25, you might be one of 2 or 3 from your home high school, right? So you walk in the first day junior year, and you might not know a lot of people. It's a lot of new people in the building that are surrounding you. But the cool thing is, if you're in that lab, you are all 25 of you are in that lab on purpose. You're there for a reason. You all applied to be in that lab together. You might have similar interests, passions, career goals. And because of that, our students, while they walk in and they don't know a whole lot of people right away, many of them end up making some of their best friends at DACC because of the fact they're learning in that kind of an environment with peers who all have similar interests. So it's a really cool culture and experience to be a part of your last 2 years of high school. We talked about where students are from. Who are students, right? So when we think about what kinds of students really apply to DACC and thrive at DACC, the way we think about this is really there's three main categories, okay, of students who really love their time here and are able to use their time here, positively to benefit them after they graduate. First and foremost, we have planners, okay? So we have students who will come into DACC and they have known for years what they want to do when they grow up, right? Maybe, for example, I'm a student and, I've known my whole life since I was 6 years old, I want to be a firefighter. My grandpa was a firefighter. My dad's a firefighter. I'm going to be a firefighter. I might also know we have a fire service training program that would help me prepare and get 2 steps ahead towards that career path. So I might be here for that reason, right? We also have doers. We have students at DACC who know they learn best by doing. Right. So I was this way when I was in high school. I knew that I absorbed the most information when I could be learning in a hands-on environment. Right. There is book learning associated with every single one of our labs. But the majority of our time that our students are spending in their lab, they're learning hands-on. They're up, they're moving, they're working with each other, with their classmates, and they're applying their book knowledge directly in a hands-on setting every day. So a lot of our students know they learn best that way as well. And this is a great environment for them for that reason. And they're here because they know that's what we take pride in, is hands-on learning. Third category are explorers. So unlike your planners up top, we have a lot of students here at DACC who, at 15, 16 years old, don't quite have that dream job mapped out just yet, right? Which at that age is completely fine, right? The reason they're here, what they do know, is they know that we are a place where they can pursue or they can learn more about something they're passionate about. So they know they're passionate about something. They have an interest in a subject area, a career field, an industry, and because of that, they're going to take 2 years, junior and senior year of high school, to really take a deep dive into that industry, that professional space, learn a whole lot more about what they like, what they don't like about that industry, things they're good at, things they're not good at, essentially potential doorways or pathways into careers in that industry that might work for them. And so they're basically here to take that interest they have, that passion that they have, and explore. And by the time they graduate, they have a much better sense when they're seniors, much better sense of, again, what they're good at, what they're not good at, what they like, what they don't like, where they're headed, and how they're going to get there, right? So it's a fantastic opportunity, a tuition-free opportunity during your high school day to do that exploring. For many of our students, or a lot of the students in our community who don't get to do this at DACC, they have to do this once they graduate high school, this exploring. And at that point, as we all know, it becomes very expensive, very time consuming. So our students get to do this kind of career self-exploration, again, during their high school day in a tuition-free environment, in many cases, 5, 10, 15 minutes down the road, which is a very valuable experience. And so we have a lot of explorers in our building as well. But that's kind of the three main categories of students, again, who really come here and thrive during their time at DACC, gain a lot from their time here. Our students, excuse me, are in their lab, as I said, for about 3 hours a day, okay, or half of their school day. So we're kind of getting into the logistics here of how life works as a DACC student. So our students are spending half their school day in one of these DACC labs. When you apply for a DACC lab, you'd apply for a first and second choice. But you would end up, if you get into DACC, you would take one. Okay, you would take one lab during your time here. As you can see, most of these programs are 2-year programs. So you would apply as a sophomore, and if you get in, you're taking that lab your junior and senior year at high school. We will talk about our senior only options here in a little bit. We have 3 programs for seniors only, 1-year tracks, but the majority of these are 2-year labs. As you can see, it kind of runs the game at what we offer, right? We have about 30 labs for high school students. We have labs in the health, wellness, and science space, transportation and manufacturing, digital tech and IT, customer and public service. We have 3 offsite labs in our animal sciences and natural resources career neighborhood. So we have a Columbus Zoo and Aquarium School housed at the Columbus Zoo in Powell. We have our equine science lab housed at the Delaware County Fairgrounds up in Delaware. And our wildlife and resource management lab housed at Camp Lazarus right across the street from us off US 23. When we started as a career center in 1974, 51 years ago, we had 4 labs. Stenography and horseshoeing were labs in that original career center, right? As you can see, we'll go back to this list, we have grown and evolved quite a bit. We have grown and evolved to a place to be a place where we kind of think we have something for almost every student in this community. Over time, the way we have evolved is we have consistently every single day, every year, kept a pulse on what the industry needs are in our part of Ohio, in Ohio and the U.S. in general. So we're talking about global industry needs, the needs of the workforce, and we're also looking at student interests. So we keep a pulse on what kinds of professional interests students in our community have. And as we have grown over the years, we've continued to keep an eye on both those things, the needs of industry and the interests of our students. And we've kind of matched those in every decision we make when we look at adding programs or subtracting programs. So what you're looking at right now is a list of labs that is carefully curated to meet both of those requirements. And again, it is a much different career center, as you can see in these images. And when you come and see us in person, a much different career center than you might have known or experienced even 5 or 10 or 20 years ago. Our programs have evolved quite a bit. Our students who are our career tech students now at the DACC, and this is a similar trend across the board, across the state of Ohio in career tech. Our students are chasing a wide variety of pathways once they leave the DACC. So when I was growing up, and I graduated from high school 11 years ago, when many of the parents in our community were growing up here in Delaware County, the Career Center was thought to be a place exclusively for students who were looking to go straight to work after high school. And many of our students still do, but a large part of our student body is also looking now to use their time here to get a leg up before going to college, maybe 2, 4, or more years. You're looking at labs here like dental assisting. We in our senior lab right now, there are students in that lab where their goal is to be a dentist one day. That's a lot of school, but they're earning their credentials and getting their kickstart, their head start in that lab here. So so that when they go to 2, 4 or more years of college for whatever dental pathway they're after, they can work their way through college with their dental assistant license. They can have a much stronger resume when they apply for competitive college programs and positions after college. That's our bell. Because they've kickstarted their journey here at DACC. So our school now has evolved to be a place where, again, we have a lot of students chasing a lot of different kinds of careers and pathways once they leave here. We have students that are looking to go straight to work. We have students that are looking to go to military first. We have students that want to go to 2, 4 or more years of college. We have students that want to go to college and use their experience and credentials they've earned in high school here at DACC to help pay their way through college, right, and to build their resume, as I just talked about. So this is a place now where our viewpoint on this, the reality of what we do every day now is, DACC is for everyone. It is a place where all kinds of students with all kinds of professional and career aspirations can get a great head start towards those goals. And as you can see in these photos, again, our students are doing that learning every day in a hands-on environment. So when they're in their lab for 3 hours a day, they are taking the book learning they're doing in that lab, and normally it's a small fraction of their time where they're doing that lecture style classroom book learning, and they're directly applying it to professional settings. We want our students learning every day in our labs with the kinds of tools and technology and equipment that the pros use in their industry, so that they can do that exploration that we talked about, so that when they step out into that industry, whether it's during their time at DACC through work-based learning, which we'll talk about later, or internships, job shadowing, whether it's directly afterwards, if they're going straight to industry after high school, or whether it's after their time in college, 2, 4 or more years, they're ready, right? That's the entire goal is they are working with this kind of equipment in these kinds of professional spaces during their lab time so that they are prepared to step out in industry and be a leader in their space. Okay. So our students are spending half their time, like I said, half their school day, junior and senior year, in one of those labs. Okay. The other half of their school day, our students are spending taking the core academic classes they need to graduate. So think your math, science, English, and social studies. And they have the option at DACC to either take those classes back at their home high school or take those classes at DACC. So you can be a full or a half-day student at DACC, okay? This is very individualized to the student, this decision. We always tell our sophomores when we talk to them every fall when they're starting to think about DACC, we always tell their parents, sit down as a family and maybe involve your school counselor and just kind of consider, for this other half of my school day, when I'm not in my lab, what classes, excuse me, do I really want to take? Like, what do I want that other part of my day to look like? If I'm a student and I know that there are unique classes back in my home high school that DACC might not offer for full day students at DACC, but I know my home high school has it, and I want to continue taking that class or take those classes at my home high school. Maybe it's an elective course, something like a band or a, newspaper. Maybe it's an AP course or a couple AP courses. By all means, be half day, so you can do both. Right. That's why we have that option. Maybe DACC has everything you're looking for from a full day perspective. And if you go on our website, and you can see our full list of class offerings that we offer here at DACC. We have a full side of our building dedicated to our full day students who are not in the lab. They're learning their academics here. We have a full side of our staff that's trained and dedicated to teaching in those 4 subject areas: math, science, English, and social studies. We offer in-person College Credit Plus classes in all 4 of those subject areas on our campus if you're a full day student. And so if we have what you're looking for, and from an academic perspective, from a core course perspective, it might make a lot of sense to be full day, right? It is completely up to the student. I will say this about full day. Our students who are full day do get to gain a class period. So if you look at the way our students' schedules break out, normally if you're a half day student, you would lose an academic class period because you'd have to travel back and forth to and from DACC. Again, for some students, that's completely fine and it's worth it because they're taking classes they want to take back at their home high school that we don't offer here at DACC. If you're a full day student, you would gain that class period back because you wouldn't have to travel in the middle of your day. So you would have 4 class periods versus 3 for that academic part of your day. So we do have students who, like, that's one of the reasons they're full day is they want to get as much learning in as possible during their school day. There are college credits that they're looking at chasing, during their traditional school day. And so going to DACC full day allows them to just earn more of those college credit classes, and just kind of learn more versus having to travel in the middle. But again, completely up to the student. You're looking this presentation right now, the screen at one of our full day spaces, just so you can see this. I know most of our families know what it looks like to take a class back at your home high school. Our full day students are taking their core courses in spaces that look like this. As you can see, we have traditional classroom spaces kind of in the back there where they're doing more of that lecture style learning. In the front, though, you can see these big spaces, and we actually call these our big spaces. This is where our students are doing more of their independent learning. They're doing some project-based learning out here. Occasionally they're working in groups on projects. They are still able to receive that support from their instructor, but they're able to do it more of in that relaxed college style learning environment. Our students tell us they really like the way our spaces are set up here to learn in. Again, they're getting their work done, but they're doing it at their own pace. They're able to meet their goals, and they're receiving that support from our teachers while they're doing it. And so when we built this part of our building back in 2019, we wanted this part, our academic spaces, to replicate kind of a college style learning environment. Our students tell us we've accomplished that goal, and it's a really unique environment to take those classes in. So I just want to put this in front of you today as an option for you. Again, our students have that choice to be full or half day. Another note I'll mention about this decision for our students is you have the option to change whether you're full or half day as you move throughout your time at DACC. So we have students who will start as half day students because they're a little nervous, tentative about leaving their home high school for the full day, and they might realize 1 semester, 2 semesters in, I think I'm ready to maybe look at taking full day class or taking my academic classes at DACC, being a full day student for some of the reasons we talked about. And so you're able as a student here to make that change. It can be by the semester. It can be after your first year here. We will work with our counselors, will work with your students' counselors back at their home high school to work that schedule out and make that switch if your student wants to make that switch. So again, just wanted to put this in front of you. I know a couple of you had comments on the survey you filled out before this session that you had questions about the full or half day options. So I want to go kind of deep into detail on this, just so you can see what those 2 options look like and kind of how we explain this to our students. And so again, you would have the option to be full or half day at DACC. If you have questions on the full day option or the half day option, please put them in the Q&A. We'd love to get to those as we go here. From a timing standpoint, here's how it works. So again, most of our students are here for 2 years, junior and senior year. Let's say you apply to a lab as a sophomore and you get in, and next year you're a student here at DACC. Your junior year, your first year, you would start your school day in your lab at DACC from 7:50 to 10:50 a.m. Okay, you would finish your day. Your afternoon would be your academic portion of your day, and you'd have those two options, right, to be full or half day. So you would either take those classes at DACC or back at your home high school. Senior year, it flipped. So senior year, you'd start your day with those two academic options, either at your home high school or DACC, and then your lab would take place in the afternoon from 11:20 to 2:20 p.m. The reason we flip it in the middle like that is you would have the same lab instructor both years at DACC. We have one career tech instructor per lab, which is great from a continuity standpoint. There's a reason we do that. We want that working relationship to really develop over those 2 years. And the continuity there is great for our students and staff. But at the same time, that teacher can't teach the juniors and the seniors at the same time. So juniors get to take lab in the morning and seniors are in the afternoon. And that's kind of how it works from a timing standpoint. From a transportation standpoint, if you are a student who attends one of those 12 public partner high schools we showed up on the screen at the very beginning, that school, your home school, would offer to bus you back and forth to and from DACC, whether you're full or half day. So that would be an option for you. Many of our students also drive themselves. So if you've ever been by our building on 23 during a school day, you will see a full parking lot. We just expand our parking lot because we're seeing increasing enrollment and increasing number of student drivers. And so that's also an option that will be available to your student. Your DACC lab will count for elective credits. So a question we get a lot from parents and from student sophomores, freshmen, sophomores who are starting to think more deeply about DACC is, how in the world am I going to fit a 3-hour lab into my schedule, my school schedule? It would take half my school day, junior and senior year, and still graduate, right? Still be on track from a credit standpoint to graduate. And the answer, again, is that your lab will count for a total of 6 elective credits, okay, upon completion. So you would earn 3 your junior year and 3 your senior year. For perspective, you would need 5 elective credits to graduate from high school in Ohio, okay? So you could theoretically knock out your state elective graduation requirement through your DACC lab alone. Some of our labs also offer core course credits with that education along with the electives. So, for example, if I'm a criminal justice student at DACC, I'm also going to be able to earn a forensic science credit through my lab during my time at DACC along with those electives. And so that is pretty common for many of our labs to offer additional core credits as a part of their curriculum. But at the very minimum, all of our labs are worth 6 elective credits, okay? Your student would gain a counselor at DACC. One of the really neat things about going to school here is the fact that while it's a big school, we have a lot of labs, there's very much a small school vibe when it comes to the kind of support our students get. Our students are not only, being supported and guided every day by their lab instructor, who knows them very well because they're working for 3 hours a day for 2 years straight, or if they're full day, also their academic teachers, their instructors here at DACC. But they're also supported by our student services department. This is a fantastic group of professionals. We have a full team of counselors here, as well as support professionals who work with our students every single day. My office was formerly in their part of the building. These people have been here for a while. They know our labs really well. They know our teachers and the curriculum really well. And their whole goal, along with our teachers here, is to meet our students where they are, make sure that we are able to challenge every one of our students and push them to meet their goals, and allow them to feel support along the way. And so it's a fantastic resource our students have, getting to work with our counselors as well as our teachers here. We got a question in the survey about extracurriculars, and it's a great question. The question was, would my student be able to continue to participate in extracurriculars back at their home high school and also go to DACC? A lot of our sophomores, when we go and meet our sophomores every year, this is one of the main things that's on their mind as they actively think about potentially applying to DACC that year is, could I make both these things work? And that extracurricular could be a sport, it could be a club or organization your student's a part of. Maybe it's a job, back in your home community that they want to keep after school. Again, the answer for 99% of our students is yes. you can do both. This includes students who come from as far away as, Worthington, a Worthington Kilbourne or a Thomas Worthington, excuse me, about 30 minutes south of DACC, or a Big Walnut, 30 minutes east. Students from all 12 of our partner high schools are able to make this work every single day. The reason they're able to make this work, and Sammy West actually on the screen right now talks about this, is that they are good communicators. They're able to communicate starting around the time when they'd be thinking about applying their sophomore year to that coach, that club advisor, that employer in their life, and saying, look, I'm interested in pursuing a lab at the ACC. I think it'd be fun. I think I gain a lot from it. But I also want to continue doing what we're doing, back here, over here at our home high school. Can we make this work? Right. And again, for the vast majority of our students, for 99% of our students, that answer is yes. These coaches and advisors in your students' lives will want to work with them to make sure they can pull both of these things off, because they know that they're at DACC for a reason. This is a future focused educational opportunity for your student. And again, we have great relationships with our partner schools to make these kinds of things work. But it starts with communication. So if this is your student, if your student is hyper involved at their home high school and they're also maybe thinking about DACC, fantastic. Many of our students are also very involved at their home high school. Encourage them to start that dialogue so they can figure out and confirm for themselves whether or not this would be a possibility. Okay. Another way our students maintain that connection in their home high school, along with extracurriculars, and if you're half day, that part of your school day would be during graduation season. So senior year, our students are really honored twice. They're honored once by their home high school at their home high school graduation ceremony. So you'd still get to walk across that graduation stage with all of your homeschool classmates. And then we will also honor your student at a ceremony of our own during May of their senior year. Normally it's at Cornell Stadium in Delaware, but we will have our own completion ceremony as well. Our students compete at the ACC, so one of the really cool things they get to do, along with their time in their lab every day and the experiences they get to have outside of their lab in industry, are these competitive opportunities our students get. And so if you visit our building at any point in the near future, you will probably see banners and trophies and things of that nature scattered throughout our labs. This is what those are from. So I want to explain this to you. We have career technical student organizations here. So we don't have like traditional high school sports teams, but we do have these career technical student organizations, or what we call CTSOs. And these are basically, think of these as little teams in each one of our labs where our students get to compete against students from other career centers who are learning the same thing using those skills that they're learning in lab. So it's a really unique opportunity for our students to apply what they're learning in their lab in a competitive setting. This really allows our students to just kind of learn in a different way to compete on behalf of our school. For many of our students, it's a networking opportunity to meet students from other schools who are interested in similar things. It's a leadership opportunity. Students in all 30 of our labs are a part, or have the opportunity to be a part of one of these career technical student organizations in their lab. For some of our students who are talented enough and who are invested enough and work hard enough, this also means it means travel. It means resume building. You're looking at Natalie Rankin here on the screen, who from Big Walnut, who graduated this past spring, and she was a national champion in 3D animation last year. She made it to the national competition in that category as a junior in Chicago. She got to go out there with her classmates and compete after winning the state title. And then this past year, she actually won the whole thing. And so Natalie is now at Bowling Green State University studying graphic design. Her resume, because of the fact that she won a national title in this industry category, really stands out, right? The connections that she was able to make at the regional, state, and national level because of the way she was able to compete allowed her to separate herself as she moved through her senior year. So think about the advantage a student like Natalie has when she's looking to apply for colleges, go out into industry one day, to have this as a part of her resume. Again, this is a really unique opportunity our students have to step up and stand out and make a name for themselves in their industry in high school. And again, students from all of our labs have the opportunity to do this here at the ACC. We have one-year programs, so I mentioned this earlier. I flashed that list of labs up on the screen, and you probably saw 3 or 4 were marked senior only labs. Okay, senior only programs. So we are offering three senior only programs at the moment, heading into this next school year. These are labs. I'll flash them up on the screen here, that you would apply for as a junior, along the same application timeline we'll discuss in a second. And you would take, if you get in, you would take as a 1 year course your senior year of high school. So for our parents in the building, who might be parents of younger students, I just want to put these in front of you now, so you know these will be options available to your student as they move forward through high school. So we always tell our sophomores when we talk to them every fall, this time next year, if you're not already enrolled in one of our 2 year programs, these will be options that will be available to you on a 1 year basis going into your senior year. So we have a pharmacy tech lab, which is offered twice during the traditional school day, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. We have 2 labs that are offered after traditional school hours. So we have our healthcare technician CNA pathway program. We have our nail tech lab, and both of those are going to be offered from 2:45 to 5 Monday through Thursday. So again, these are options that are available to our students who are juniors, going into their senior year, looking for a 1 year head start in their preferred industry field. Okay, there's no tuition to attend DACC, so we are a public school here in Delaware County. That said, you will see a term called lab fees on our website, on our fact sheets, when you look in depth at our programs. What this means is, think of these as comparable to classroom fees you might pay for a class back at your home high school. So, book fees for an English class, things of that nature. A supply fee for an art class. These fees would be going towards very specific things that your student would need to attend that lab. And so, for example, if I'm a culinary arts student at DACC, I'm paying for a professional chef's uniform customized to the student so that they can participate in that lab every day, because every day they're learning in a professional grade kitchen on our campus. And so part of what we do here at DACC in those lab spaces is prepare our students to be in industry right away, to put them in the real world learning environment, as we talked about right away. So part of that in making that possible is things like uniforms, equipment. So these lab fees would go towards they're very specific, customized pieces of equipment like that, so your students can participate in their labs. But there's no tuition to attend DACC, right? I'll also note that lab fees, just to go back to that real quick, every year we spell out very, very explicitly on our website what our students are paying lab fees to attend that course. So if you go on those program pages we talked about on our website, you can see exactly how much to the dollar our students are currently paying to be a part of that course. And so if you're curious about what lab fees might look for a given lab, check our website out, and they're all spelled out right there. Okay. No tuition to attend DACC. That said, unlike your traditional public K-12 high school, we are a school of choice, which means you would need to apply to get in, as I mentioned earlier. So for our students who are sophomores right now, this is their application year, right? Many of our programs, like I said, are 2 year programs, and so you'll be looking at this fall and winter being the time when you would explore, and then if you're interested, when you would apply to a DACC lab. I know we have many younger families in the chat right now, which is awesome, by the way. Love the fact that you're taking the time and exploring so soon, and really getting a good head start on this process for you and your family. So if you're a parent of a student who's not currently a sophomore, keep in mind that this timeline, the dates will change year to year, but this timeline is going to be, it'll be fairly similar for when your student's a sophomore. We generally keep the same timeline every year. We just change the dates depending on the year. If you're the parent of a sophomore, or a junior may be interested in one of those senior only labs, this timeline would apply to your student this year, and these dates would apply to your student this year when it comes to application. So we are meeting face to face here in October, October 23rd. Again, this time of year, as I kind of said at the outset, as we kind of started the call, my team, our outreach team, is out at every single partner high school in our area, presenting to the sophomores there about the ACC. So September and October is when we really reach out to the sophomores, meet them where they are, meet them at their home high school, give them a general overview of what we do, and that kind of gives them a preview of what could be if they're interested in the ACC. Right. On November 21st this year, our online application opens. So here in about a month, our online app will open up. The priority deadline this year is January 9th of 2026. So it's about a 2-month window to apply. Okay. And that's pretty typical for our DACC enrollment timeline. Very important to note here, it doesn't matter when you apply in that window, that 2-month window, as long as you're in that window, as long as you meet that January 9th deadline. So you could apply, the minute application opens on November 21st, 12:01 a.m. And we have students that will do that. And you could also apply, or you could also apply the minute before it closes, January 8th at 11:59 p.m. And both those applications would be weighed the same. Okay. The reason we do that is we really want you to explore. We want your student to really come in and see us in person. In our opinion, the very best way to figure out if DACC is something you want to apply for and pursue as a student is to come in and see us and meet us in person. Come in and meet the instructor, meet our students, talk to them about their time here, see the lab in person, do some hands-on learning with us during sophomore visit days. Like, that's very important if you're going to make a decision to apply for a lab where you would be spending half your school day for 2 years straight, that you're very familiar with it. You've asked a lot of questions. You've gotten a lot of questions answered, and you fully know what you're getting into, right? So that's why we open up this process and make sure that it doesn't matter when you apply in that window, as long as you're in that window. We want to give you time to explore. As I mentioned, great opportunities to do that coming up. So if you're the parent of a sophomore and you're like, what's exploration look like? How should my student go about this? If you're, again, a student of or if you're a parent of a student who attends one of our 12 public partner high schools, as I talked about, sophomore visit day is a fantastic time to do that. So again, the deadline to register for that field trip back at your home high school will be tomorrow. It's November 21st, 24th, and 25th this year. So it's the three school days, that Friday, Monday, Tuesday, leading into Thanksgiving break. Students who register are able to come out and see 2 labs of their choice, do actual hands-on learning with our students and staff in those labs. It is just a fantastic opportunity to really get a sense of who we are, what we do, how we do it, and whether or not you might want to apply for a lab here at DACC. So that occurs right at the time when application opens. Every school has their own day to come out and explore DACC. So if you're the parent of a sophomore and your student has not yet signed up for this field trip, make sure to tell them that they need to do that by tomorrow. Their counselor in your high school will have more information for you specifically on how to register from your high school. Okay. In December, like I said, on December 11th, we have our open house. It's an evening open house. So if you're a student of a sophomore and let's say they come out for sophomore visit days, they like what they see, it'd be great to have the whole family come back and see that lab in December. That's a great opportunity to do that. We will also have off-site labs for labs like zoo school and for our equine science lab. Our wildlife is going to be off-site that night on December 11th. But for those first 2 labs, zoo school and equine, they will have their own off-site open house days. Equine science will host its own lab at the equine science lab at the Delaware County Fairgrounds on December 13th. And then our zoo school will have an on-site open house at the zoo on January 6th. And so if you're interested specifically in either of those programs, would highly encourage you to go to those so you can see those labs in person. But every one of our labs will be represented on our main campus on December 11th as well. Okay. And then, like I said, January 9th is that priority deadline this year. Okay. So we will also, as we mentioned too, in the very beginning, we'll also have several family tour dates within this window. So if neither of those first 2 opportunities work for you and your student, we'd love to have you a lot for one of those as well. Okay. So this is kind of the enrollment timeline for this year. Once that deadline hits, January 9th rolls around. Let's say you're a sophomore in our district this year and you've explored, you like what you see, you applied. What happens next, right? What's our process for admitting students? Kind of how do we do that? Our admissions process in a nutshell works like this. So we have about 25 students per lab, like I said at kind of the outset, and essentially how this works is once that deadline hits, that priority deadline hits, we have a team of staff members, counselors, administrative professionals who sit down and go through every single application that comes in, okay, or that has come in, that deadline. And they're looking first and foremost for 3 things. They're scanning every application. They're looking for 3 kind of baseline criteria, three baseline factors. So number 1, does the student live in our career tech planning district? So this would include the following districts. It would include Olentangy. It would include Delaware City, Big Walnut, Buckeye Valley, Worthington would be a part of our career tech planning district. So those 5 districts right there would be a part of that that first round career tech planning district. Okay. Now you'll notice, like if you're a Westerville parent, Westerville would technically be outside of that career tech planning district, that CTPD. We will talk more about that in a second. But our and you would technically be a part of that second lottery round. But again, our primary CTPD would include those first 5 districts. Okay. So, does the student live in our career tech planning district? Are they attending school in our career tech planning district? Number 2, is a student on track to graduate through their freshman sophomore year? So are they passing their core courses over their first 2 years of high school? The reason we need to know this is we need to know your student's going to be able to take a 3-hour lab as a junior and senior and still be on track to graduate their home high school from a credit standpoint. Okay. Thirdly, did they meet that priority deadline? Again, that is January 9th for this year's application cycle. So everyone who checks all 3 of those boxes is automatically put into the first round of the lottery for the program they apply for. Okay. If you check 2 or fewer of those boxes, so like let's say you attend a Westerville school, and you would be outside of that career tech planning district, or let's say you might not be passing all or have passed all of your core courses going into your junior year. Maybe you missed the deadline by a day or 2. You'll be placed in that second lottery round for your program. So if you check 2 or fewer of those boxes, you'd be in round 2. We will hold those first and second lottery rounds for each program, and then early February, we start letting our families know what their status is. So if you're initially accepted, congratulations, you're in. Here's what's next. Let's say more than 25 students apply for your lab, and you might start on the outside looking in. You might start on a wait list. That I understand that's an intimidating term. I want to use this as an opportunity to say every year we have students who will start on a wait list in their lab February of their sophomore year, and by the time school starts their junior year in August, they're in that lab. And the reason that happens is every year, inevitably, we will have students who will be initially accepted into a lab in February and might decide between February and August going into their junior year, I'm not sure this lab is for me. Or maybe their family moves out of the district over the summer and they can no longer attend DACC. And when that happens, we start contacting our waitlisted families and letting them know we have a spot open, asking them if they want it. Okay. So that's kind of how our enrollment process works in a nutshell. One thing I'll mention about that second lottery round, just to come back to that, we talk to Westerville students every year about DACC and opportunities to explore. Yes, Westerville would be a part of that second lottery round. That said, we have a significant Westerville population, Westerville State Schools population in our building every day. 16% of our current student body learning here at DACC right now is from Westerville City Schools, and that is comparable to other districts that are inside of that career tech planning district in that first round. So we always tell our Westerville families and their students the numbers don't lie. It's very possible to get into DACC from Westerville. We always encourage our Westerville students, come out, explore, and if you like a lab, if there's something here that you're really passionate about that you think you would really thrive here in a lab, you would really thrive in here at DACC, give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance and apply. The only way you can guarantee you're not going to get is by not applying. I'll put it that way. Milani here, apologize for the bell again, is a great example of that. She's a senior in our medical assisting lab from Westerville North. She was a student who gave herself that chance, and she, is also an example of a student who started on that wait list, and then was initially accepted the second day of school her junior year, stayed patient, stayed engaged with us, connected, and when that opportunity came up, she took it, and she's really thriving here now. So again, if you're a Westerville family, if you're a family that would be in that second lottery round outside that career tech planning district, give yourself the same chance that students like Milani do, or a student like Milani did, and apply and kind of let the chips fall where they may. Because it's very possible to get into DACC from that second round, depending on the year in the program, right? So, but this is kind of how our enrollment process works in a nutshell. If you have questions on this, I'm throwing a lot of information at you, right, just kind of at the outset here right away. Please let me know. I know that many of our students and their parents will come in with questions about admissions, right? And we would love to answer those as we go here today, because there's a lot of information to process here. Okay, so feel free to pop those in the chat if you do have questions. What makes DACC different? We'll kind of shift here a little bit. and kind of, just talk about in conclusion of my part of it, what makes learning at DACC different from learning a traditional high school classroom learning environment, right? And we've already kind of talked about this first bullet point, the classroom. So our lab spaces are not like traditional classrooms, right? These are real world learning environments. Our students are doing hands-on learning here. So in many of our labs, if you look at a lab at DACC, our students might spend a fraction of those 3 hours, maybe 30, 45 minutes, depending on the lab and the unit they're studying, doing book learning behind a desk. The rest of those 3 hours, they are up, they're active, they're working with their hands, they're doing hands-on learning in their labs, they're working with their classmates on group projects. Every single one of our labs offers hands-on learning at DACC. It's a core part of our model as a career tech school, and our students love learning in this way. It allows them to apply what they're learning in their classroom, literally right next door, to their professional standard space right away. And so it's a really great way to learn. And again, it's preparing our students to step out into industry. During high school, potentially through work-based learning, which is where our students are able to exchange time in their lab for time in the field. These are earned opportunities for our students, oftentimes starting to come up maybe end of junior year, start of senior year, once they've earned the kinds of credentials and knowledge and experiences required to step out into industry and be a part of their industry. Work-based learning, internships, job shadowing, these opportunities for our students to get out into the field during their time at DACC, it's very important that before they go and do that, they have trained in a space that looks like their lab. And so they're getting to do that, again, in their lab every day at DACC. So our students are in real world learning environments. The second thing really that makes DACC different from a traditional high school classroom experience is our instructors, our teachers. So the folks who lead these career tech labs do not have traditional teaching backgrounds in the sense that they are required to come from industry. So in order to teach a lab here at DACC, you have to have had a career in that profession or that industry first in order to teach our students, right? The reasons that matters, number one, our teachers have been there and done that. So they have years of lived real world experience in that professional space. They know what it takes to succeed in their industry and in the industry that your student might be interested in. And they are passionate about passing that knowledge on to the next generation. That's why they're here, right? So they come equipped with that experience. And they're willing to pass that, and they want to pass that on to your students. Second reason it matters is our teachers, because of their time in industry, through their time in that professional space, they have a lot of connections. So they have a network of folks in our part of Ohio, Central Ohio, in that industry, who they're close with. And when your students are at the point where they are getting ready to go do work-based learning or internships or job shadowing during their school day, our instructors are often the ones who set those opportunities up or play a big role in that because of their connections. So they're able to, because they're with your students for 3 hours a day for 2 years straight, they know your students really well. They know what their interests are, what their passions are, what they're good at, what kind of environment they would do really well in, and they're able to help place your students into great in the field opportunities. Based on what they know about your student and kind of what they're after, right? So it's a fantastic kind of relationship, working relationship our teachers have with our students in that way. And a lot of those in the field experiences are set up through our teachers because of their time in industry and the connections they have. A great example of this is Michael Steiner, Chef Steiner, our culinary arts instructor. So you're seeing him on the screen right now. Chef Steiner, again, is one of 30 career tech teachers here at DACC. He leads the culinary arts lab. He was actually a graduate of this program back in 2011. He went to Buckeye Valley High School. He graduated from our culinary arts lab, and he went and pursued further culinary education in Pittsburgh for 4 years. At the same time he was doing that, after high school, he was also launching his career in the industry in the city of Pittsburgh. He came back in 2015 to work for a guy named Cameron Mitchell, who you might know. He worked for Cameron Mitchell Restaurants for several years. He eventually worked his way up to becoming the executive chef at Cap City Diner down in Grandview during the end of his time there. And then in 2023, as he and his wife began to start a family here in Delaware County, he decided, I want to come back and begin to inspire the next generation of culinary professionals in Central Ohio and in Ohio in the U.S. And so that's why he's here. He's very passionate about this stuff. But because of his time in industry, working for Cameron Mitchell, working in Central Ohio in the culinary industry, he is able to set our students in that lab up with fantastic work-based learning opportunities. His connections afford him the ability to get our students into the industry during their school day. Many times these are paid opportunities, and really allow our students to build their resumes through these in the field experiences. So this is one example. Chef Steiner is one example. As I said, we have 30 labs here for high school students. Every one of our labs has a teacher like this who is coming from industry, and their time in industry, because they come from that background, is really benefiting our students, right? So it's a huge part of our model. Third thing we'll talk about are credentials. Okay, so the lab spaces are certainly not traditional classrooms. Our teachers don't come from traditional teaching backgrounds. Credentials are kind of the third thing that make DACC stand out, right? And so we've mentioned these before. These are industry recognized certifications that show proficiency. So it could show proficiency in a certain hands-on skill required in your industry, or maybe it's proficiency in terms of knowledge in a subject area related to your industry. These are professional grade industry standard credentials that our students are getting to earn in all 30 of our labs during their time here at DACC. The reason it matters our students get to earn these now. Most students do not get to earn the kinds of credentials our students do in high school. Most of them have to wait till they graduate high school to earn these kinds of credentials. And at that point, it becomes very time consuming and very expensive. Our students get to earn these again during their high school day in a tuition-free environment, in many cases 10, 15, 20 minutes down the road, right? It is a exceptionally unique and rare opportunity our students in this community get if they go at DACC at Chase and earn these credentials, right? So, an example of what this might look like and why these credentials might matter, Talia Sanchez here on the screen. I'm going to try to move our monitor over here, so hopefully you can see this. Talia was a graduate of our dental assisting program this past spring. She's from Thomas Worthington. Talia is now studying pre-dental biology at Ohio State University. She wants to be a dentist one day, and she got her start here at DACC, and what her time here looked like. The credentials that she graduated with last May, she graduated with 4 industry recognized certifications in her lab, her CPR and first aid credential, her OSHA 10-hour training certification, her registered dental assistant credential. We talked about that earlier, actually. Her RDA, that's a big one. Talia is able to work as a dental assistant through her time in dental school now because she earned that credential at the ACC. And her radiographer license from the Ohio Department of Health, that's a semester long. I should say that credential takes a whole semester to earn. It's very intensive. So that's first semester of the senior year for our dental students. But because she had those 4 credentials lined up and already under her belt, Talia was able to, during her time at DACC, as she was earning those, gain work-based learning experience at a very high level. She was able to work with Michelangelo Family Dentistry in Westerville for 40 hours a week during her senior year. She worked Monday through Thursday and came to DACC to catch up with her instructor and learn on Friday. And over the course of her senior year, like by I think it was January of her senior year, she had been promoted to lead dental assistant on that staff at Michelangelo as a high school student. And so it's a great paid experience for her. It's great in the field experience, but the fact that she was able to put this on her resume, Talia, when she was applying to Ohio State and other very competitive college programs, her application became very strong, very competitive because of her time at the ACC. It's not only the things she was able to accomplish, it also shows colleges, I am heavily invested. I'm interested in this stuff. So when college admissions offices are looking at resumes from high school students and applications from high school students, being able to say, look, at 16, 17, 18, I was already a part of this industry. I'm invested, I'm experienced, I'm very knowledgeable in both the hands-on and the book learning kind of way. I'm a fantastic candidate for your program, right? Our students' applications are very strong for these college programs for that reason. So this is a great example of a student who was really able to use those credentials that she earned here and the in-the-field experiences that came with those credentials to really elevate her resume and her college application. She was our graduation speaker last year. Talia was actually. One of the things she said about DACC by the end of her time here was DACC shaped not only her future, but who she is today. What she's referencing there, I've talked with Talia about this a lot, It's not just the resume that she built. It's also and the skills that she learned and earned and all of that. It's also the soft skills. Like it's not just the technical stuff. It's the soft skills students in every one of our labs get from their time here. Our students in our labs at the ACC, one of the primary focuses we have as instructors here of those students, or for our instructors, I should say, is to develop leaders. We want our students to develop these soft skills, the employability skills, the personal skills, interpersonal communication skills, to work with adults, to be leaders in their space, to know what that looks and feels like. And most high school students don't get that kind of employability training during high school. That kind of has to come through their time in college, maybe internships, maybe after college when they're actually on the job. So, one of the reasons why employers will seek our students out for work-based learning and things like that. One of the reasons they want to work with our students and our graduates are these soft skills. And so Talia is talking about there. It's a huge part of the education our students receive at the ACC. Another example here, a student example of how credentials can pay off for your students, is Adam Warnicki. Adam was from Liberty High School, Olentangy Liberty. He was in our Power Sports and Diesel Tech lab, graduated this past spring as well. Adam is a great example, by the way, of a student who is able to stay very involved at his home high school and also be a great student at the ACC. He was on Liberty's state championship Division I football team last fall. I believe he started at left guard on that team. And he was also just a standout student here at the ACC. So Adam's at WyoTech right now, Wyoming Technical Institute down in Laramie, Wyoming. And he is furthering his diesel education. He wants to be a diesel mechanic one day. And he got a great start here at the ACC. He earned 6 industry recognized credentials during his time here, which is just an outstanding amount. Because he earned those, he was able to also have work-based learning experience, much like Talia, but in his field during his time here. So his last year and a half of his 2 years at the ACC, he was working with Curatola Masonry in Columbus, and he was able to be their basically their lead maintenance tech on their staff on job sites for 2, 3, 4 days a week, earning money, but also earning great real world experience to add to his resume, so that by the time he graduated and he wanted to apply for a place like WyoTech, again, he had a fantastic application put together because of the time he had here at the ACC. Adam, we talked to Adam before he graduated, and again, he emphasized what many of our students will emphasize about their time here, which is it's not just the hands-on experience in the lab, but it's also because of that time earning that on-the-job experience that our students get that really makes them stand out and makes their experience here worthwhile, right? So all of that might sound great, right? Like the lab spaces, the teachers, the credentials, the experiences our students have. We understand, though, fully that going to a place like the ACC is making a big leap, right? Our students will tell you that for many of our students, we have 1,400 students in our building every day across those 30 labs. This was a big step outside their comfort zone, right? Our students are choosing to leave an environment in their home high school, which they're very familiar with, with teachers and students that they know very well, spaces they know very well, to go to a brand new place, in many cases, 5, 10, 15 minutes down the road, for half their high school day, midway through their high school career, halfway through their high school career, right, for their junior and senior year. And so making a decision like that is a sacrifice. It's an investment. It's a big step outside their comfort zone for many of our students. Excuse me. They will tell you that, those first couple days, maybe that first week is kind of nerve-wracking, right? You're meeting all new people and you're in a brand new place. And there are a lot of nerves associated with that. That said, our students will also tell you that, after those first couple days, those first couple weeks, as we talked about in the beginning, many of our students make some of their best high school friends, have some of their best high school memories during their time in their lab at the ACC, because they are here for a purpose. They are here to invest in their future. They are learning alongside students every day who have similar interests, maybe career goals, and because of that, again, they're making some of their best high school memories. They're forming some of their best friendships in high school through their time at the ACC. It's a really unique experience. It's a really unique way to spend part of your day, your final 2 years of high school. Elizabeth and Joel, we're going to put their slides up here as we close out my portion of this, can kind of speak to this. Elizabeth and Manning, is studying nursing right now at Ohio State. She graduated from Thomas and from DACC's health tech program last school year. And she talked about one of the main things she loved talking to prospective students about was this part of it. Yes, her resume is great. She's off to a great start in her field, but also the friendships that she's made, the relationship she got to build with her instructor, will last a lifetime. And so it's a really special thing to be a part of. Just the kind of community, as Joel talks about here at DACC. The kind of opportunities our students get, the in the field experiences they earn here, the credentials they earn are 1% opportunities, right? 99% of students in Delaware County and Northern Franklin County do not get to do the kinds of things our students get to do during their high school day. They don't get to set themselves apart like our students do. And that's the reason our students are here. It's a fantastic opportunity. Our students are very privileged to be able to do the kinds of things they're doing here at DACC every day. But also, it's a school, right? It's a community. We have 30 labs, but we kind of carry that small school pride still, and that small school kind of vibe where our students feel like they're part of a community here. They're very supported here. And again, many of their best friends by the time they're seniors are here. Mary Ellen can speak to this as well, but I feel like when we walk in on students in their senior lab, right? So like the afternoon lab period where these are all seniors and they're learning together. It kind of feels like you're interrupting a family conversation. It's a very close knit culture here at the ACC, and it's just a really neat place to be a part of every day. So we've got about 25 minutes left here. I want to open things up here. Mary Ellen, you got your camera on now, so I'm assuming we got some questions.
No questions, not yet.
Okay. So if you have questions about any of the programs we have here, I will put that list up actually now of programs you can look at on the screen. Any of our labs, anything we talked about today, application information, information on our timeline, the timing, the logistics of going to school here. Now is a great time to ask those questions while we're here in front of you. I want to also let you know too that myself and Mary Ellen are accessible personally too. Like our school email will be in this chat, and you'll have that after this presentation is over as well. So if you want to reach out to us one-on-one, give us a call, shoot us an email. We'd love to talk one-on-one about your student, their interests, and kind of ways to explore and connect with the ACC. So I'll put this list of programs up here again. If you have ones that you want us to get to, fire away, and we will share a little bit about some of these programs.
All right.
So looks like we got a couple of you typing in here too. Wonderful. I'm looking at the chat now. So, okay. So we got a question here from David. So just to be clear, there's not any middle school labs available. It's only for juniors and seniors. So yes, that's true. We do have a few satellite programs for middle school students. So if you look at the bottom right-hand corner of this presentation here, you can see that we have a few select partner schools that offer middle school satellite programs. So for example, Big Walnut Middle School offers a pre-engineering track. We have our Career Connections lab at that middle school. But the vast majority, yes, you're correct, of these labs, the ones you're seeing on this screen are going to be for high school students, juniors and seniors. That said, we are every year increasing our involvement with our partner middle schools. What I mean by that is we will go out, myself, our career readiness coordinator, Lisa Marie Reinhardt, will go out every year to local middle schools and do hands-on learning with students in those labs where they can do, or students in those schools, I should say, excuse me, where they can do career exploration on site at their own high school or at their own middle school with our team, with our student ambassadors. So we do take some time every year and go out to select middle schools and do career exploration with the students there. We also have a middle school summer camp. I think Mary Ellen, you might have already talked about that in the chat. Yep. This is a fantastic opportunity for rising 7th through 9th graders to come and see us. Every year we offer anywhere between like 10, 11 or 10, 12 labs. We'll offer a summer camp. It's a 3-day experience in the first week of June. It costs $40. It's fairly affordable. And for middle school students in our community, just a great opportunity to come in and do hands-on learning with us, in our labs with our instructor, with our high school students, our rising seniors more often than not. And so that's going to be an opportunity for middle school students here as well. Furthermore, the last few years, we've really been ramping up our middle school tours. So if you're an eighth grader and you go to one of our partner public middle schools, you will have the opportunity this year to come out and see us in the spring. You will be getting more information on that from your school, from your home school. But we've been ramping up the last few years the number of opportunities we are having for eighth grade students to come in and take tours of our labs and see our building and kind of meet us in person. So no, we don't have any middle school labs on site. We are really beefing up our outreach to middle school students and career exploration efforts there. But the vast majority of these labs are going to be, you're correct, junior and senior year. Yep. Great question. Let's see if we got any more questions in here.
I don't see any.
Okay.
Oh, I have one. Hold on. I have one over here.
Yeah. I've got some programs written down too that were mentioned in the survey I can talk about. But yeah.
Are the same courses available to grade school students also available to adults? Assume tuition free.
No. Yeah.
No.
So our adult education and Mary Ellen and I work mostly in the high school side of things. Mary Ellen can pop that link into there to
Yeah,
our
I'm gonna
adult
pop it
page.
into the chat.
Okay. We have just a handful of programs for adult learners right now. These are evening courses. And there would be a fee associated with attending one of these courses. So there would be a tuition fee, so to speak, for our adult learners. And you can see that list. I believe Mary Ellen just threw it in the chat.
Yep.
That link right there will lead you to that list of programs we offer right now for adult learners, which would be 18 and over, and kind of how to connect and register for one of those programs if you're interested. Great question. There are a couple programs here that I will just talk briefly about because they were mentioned in the survey as programs we had questions on. So there might be one or two of you in here who had questions about our engineering labs. So we have two engineering labs, as you can see on this sheet. We have an engineering technician lab and our robotics automation and design lab. They are housed right next to each other in kind of what we call the high bay part of our building, where all of our manufacturing, engineering, and automotive labs are housed. And the difference between these two labs. So if you think of engineering on a spectrum, right, you've got on one side kind of the application-based side of engineering. So think like manufacturing settings, systems engineers. So our students who are in our engineering technician lab tend to have more of an interest or focus in that side of the engineering spectrum, where they might be looking to more often than not to go straight into industry after high school. They might want to work in a manufacturing setting as a on the floor engineer in a setting like that. The other side of the engineering spectrum would be more of that theory based engineering. So you're looking at more of like a design engineering kind of career pathway. Our students in our robotics automation design lab are going to be more geared towards or more focused or interested in that side of engineering. So in both of those labs, there's crossover, right? Like we have students in our robotics lab who do want to go straight into industry, in a manufacturing kind of setting. We have students in our engineering technician lab who might want to go to 2, 4, or more years of college to study mechanical or electrical engineering. But generally speaking, our engineering tech lab is going to be, again, more so application-based side of engineering. We have students who want to more often than not go straight into industry in a mechanical or electrical engineering setting. And then in a manufacturing setting, using those skills they're learning in their lab versus like our engineering robotics automation design lab. Majority of those students are looking to go to engineering college or school for engineering after high school. They might be looking at electrical engineering as a career pathway for them, a college major for them. Mechanical engineering is also a common interest out of this lab. So hopefully that makes sense. It's kind of the main difference between the two. They are fairly similar. There's some crossover there. They share a lot of the same tools and equipment to learn with. But the students tend to have slightly different career interests coming out of high school. Yeah. I will cover another lab here that was mentioned on the survey. We got a question about our automotive labs, kind of differences between those labs. So auto tech, auto collision, and power sports and diesel technology, right, are the main three we're talking about here. So first off, auto tech. So if you think about a vehicle, there's the stuff that happens under the hood, like the interior of the vehicle. There's a lot of math and science and technology involved with vehicles these days, cars and trucks. And so students in auto tech are learning everything under the hood, right? That's their main focus. They a lot of these students will want to go straight to work as a technician after high school, or work in the automotive industry straight after high school. That's auto tech. Auto collision, on the contrary, would be the exterior of the vehicle. So your collision students are learning more about dent repair, collision repair. They are learning painting, like some of the repair design aspects of the automotive industry. And again, in that lab, we have a lot of students who want to maybe go work in the collision repair straight after high school. It's a great prep for that. All these labs are right next to each other, by the way, so there's a lot of crossover work that occurs between the three. Our third one's power sports and diesel technology. So this would be, you're working with small engines more often than not here. You're working with diesel trucks. You're also working with things as small as lawnmowers, dirt bikes. So a wide range of kinds of vehicles you're working with and learning about in these labs. We have students that want to, go work as diesel technicians, like you saw Adam Warnicki there earlier. There's also a decent welding component in this lab. So we have students that might have an interest in welding who will apply for maybe power sports and our welding lab because they know they're going to get to do a lot of welding in both of those. So part of the experience in diesel in that program is also learning a couple different kinds of welding. And so that would be, one way to think about power sports is there are several different components to that lab. There's a lot that you get a foundation in that lab as well. So that's kind of, hopefully that makes sense. It's a little bit on all three of the auto labs.
We did have a question come in, Grant.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer.
Okay.
I don't know if you will either.
Yeah.
What companies in the area would forensic lab students be able to connect with for on-the-job training after DACC?
So forensics, I'll preface this by saying, there's really two main labs that would delve deep into forensics. We would talk about criminal justice, which is that's a part of it's a unit during their time at DACC is that forensics class, and then we have biotechnology, and so it's in both of those labs, and those are very different labs. Like in criminal justice, we have a lot of students that might want to go into law enforcement for after their time in that lab. So forensics, what they might use their forensics education in that lab for might be very different from what a biotechnology student might. Students in biotech are typically interested in learning and working in the life sciences after high school or college. They will be learning in that lab how to work in a research lab setting. They're studying DNA. And bacteria, it's very science heavy. So two very different kinds of career pathways between those two labs, obviously. So when we talk about like forensics, like from an industry partner standpoint, this would be, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm also probably not the number one person to answer this question. Very specific questions like this are great for our instructors. So you can see on the program pages how to contact our lab instructors. So I will say this, from a biotechnology standpoint, I believe the question was, I might get this wrong, Mary Ellen, correct me if I am. How would a student's forensic education at DACC help them get work-based learning or an opportunity out in the field? Is that the question?
That is how I'm reading it as well. Yep.
Okay. So
the
best I can give you is when our for example, our biotechnology students, when they are looking to go out and get an internship at like an Amgen or Forge Biologics, during or after their time at DACC, having the specific lab-based forensics education they get at the ACC. I can't speak specifically to like individual companies' hiring practices or protocols or exactly what each company is looking for. I do know in general that the fact that they've studied this at all and they've done it in a setting that's specific to their industry and the life science industry in that biotech lab is extremely helpful. So like the fact they've already earned a forensics credit during their time at
Right.
the ACC, kind of puts them at a different place than a traditional high school student who might not have taken that class or at their home high school, or who might have taken it but not specific to life sciences. Similarly, like if you're a criminal justice student and you want to go into the police academy at age 21, um, when you are, after you graduate from the academy, on your resume, the fact that you've had a science education that is based in the law enforcement industry, that is directly applicable to your industry. Again, it just makes your resume more competitive.
Yeah.
I can't speak specifically to like what a specific agency would be looking for as
Hmm.
it, when it comes to forensics. I just know from what our instructors tell me that the fact that they have had this lab specific forensics part of their time here,
Yeah.
it just separates them. Again, I would reach, if you have very specific, like granular questions about that, like more in detail, I'd reach out to our lab instructors, like I said, and they would probably be able to offer you a little more perspective on that. But that's probably the best perspective I can give on that. So
Yeah.
that's probably a start. I know it's probably not your favorite answer, but
Yeah.
it's the best I can give.
I do know that our criminal justice program, he has a lot of speakers who come in. So
Mhm.
he, I don't know for sure if a forensic specialist or lab per se would come in and talk to the students about forensics, but I know that he has like the canine dogs coming in, and FBI agents. And so he does bring in a lot of industry partners to talk to the kids about the careers that they can do outside or when they leave DACC. Again, I'm not sure if forensics is one of them, but they do bring in, as that is hard under the age of 18 to get any on the job training in that area. Anyway, sorry, I just want to
No,
piggyback
yeah,
off of that, Grant. We
great
did
question.
get
Yeah.
another question.
Hmm.
For students who wanted to pursue architecture, landscaping architecture might be a good way to start. That was a question. Um, they
Hmm.
have any practice to strengthening the resume? Great question. So can you talk a little
Yeah.
bit about our landscaping architecture and design program?
Sure. Yeah. So if you have a student that is interested, and the program is exactly what it sounds like. So our
Hmm.
students in that lab are working on, they're learning how to design and build landscape structures. They are like a project that they worked on a couple of years ago. I believe last school year was um, building a foundation around, like there's this big tree on the back of our campus where they need to build a foundation around that to plant a flower bed. They built gazebos on our campus before. These are students who oftentimes are in charge of maintaining and upgrading our grounds here at DACC, various parts of that. So if you have a student that's interested in like building those kinds of structures and working in the landscape industry, whether it's residential or commercial, great place to start that journey
Hmm.
here. Very hands-on lab. You're also getting forklift certified in that lab. They're outside every day. So
Every day.
important thing to know is even on days like today when it's cold out, our landscape students are outside working.
Mhm.
And so, it's a big part of what they're doing in that lab is actually getting that hands-on learning in. They do have an indoor lab space, but again, they're spending a fraction of those 3 hours in that space. A lot of their time they're out learning with their hands. In our on or around our campus. I will say this, and this might not be exactly what you're asking, but I want to use this as an opportunity to talk about this. When it comes to the learning or education or skills your students might want or need to have before they come here. And this might not be what you're asking, but I kind of read that question and thought about this.
Mhm.
There are no prerequisites for skills or knowledge about the industry your students interested in before they get to DACC. You, like, if you're a digital design student at DACC, you never ever will have needed to pick up a camera before you enroll in that lab, or show up to school the first day. You never would have needed to work with Adobe InDesign or Photoshop. If you are a you know robotics student at DACC, you never once needed to have dealt with a robot before you come here, or like any of those computer platforms our students are learning how to use before you get here. Our job as a staff is to make sure that, because we have students who will come in with all different levels of experience and expertise. Our job is to challenge and every single one of those students to grow, to meet their goals, from an individual basis. It's very individualized, personalized here, and to make sure every student is, again, met where they are and challenged to pursue what they want to pursue. So there's no prerequisites for attending school here. The one thing we do ask all of our incoming students to have is that passion, that deep interest in what they're learning about. Remember, it's 3 hours a day for 2 years straight, and so it's very important to us that our students know coming in what they're getting into, and that they're excited to do this. That this is something they are passionate about. They know that about themselves. They're really interested in this career field or subject area. Because if that's you, like if that's your student, there's no better place to be. But we want to make sure that all of our students have that passion coming in, because that's what allows them to really grow and flourish and accomplish their goals during their time here.
And remember, all of our programs are a foundation for the next step. None of our students will come out of any program completely proficient in any field. There's always more training or more schooling, but there is a foundation for them. So
this is a head start. I mean,
yeah, it's a huge head start.
Our students apply to and attend DACC because they want to separate themselves. Bottom line, they want to get ahead of the pack. They know that there's something here that they might be interested in studying for 3 hours a day and exploring, and they know that their time here is going to set them apart. And so if that is your student, if your student is someone who is interested in one of these labs, you come out and explore, you like what you see, apply for it, and understand that when our students show up to school every day, that's why they're here. It's really cool, just from an outsider's perspective, coming in here a couple of years ago, to be a part of a school, to work with a student body every day that is this focused. Our students are professionals at a high school age, and so it's a really unique way to be a unique way to experience high school. That's the one thing all of our students, all 1,400, have in common, is that focus, that passion, that drive, right?
And I was not an employee here before my daughter came here. I decided after she was a completer that if a position opened, I was applying for it, and that's exactly what happened because of her experience here and all the stories and the passion and the drive that I saw through her. So.
Wonderful. Any more questions before we wrap up? I want to be sensitive to everyone's time. It's 11:57, so we've got a few minutes left. So if you have any lingering questions, we'd love to answer those. I know that there are a lot of younger families on the call this morning. If that's you, just to reiterate some upcoming opportunities for you, we spent a lot of time and rightfully so talking about the process and the timeline for sophomores this year, as this is their application year. If you are the parent of a younger student, the family of a younger student, again, just a reminder, coming up here, we've got family tours, we've got our open house in December. You are more than welcome to sign up for and attend those events. We'd love to have you out. We mentioned the middle school summer camp. Typically, and remember, you all are going to be on our email list now, our Explorer newsletter list. Those folks are the first to learn about summer camp every year because you obviously indicate you're interested in learning more about it. So the minute we get more information on which programs we're going to have, what the dates and times are and all that stuff, we're in the middle of planning that right now. You will be the first to know. Normally, we start releasing information about that early spring, and then we will have an opportunity to register for that camp, typically around early March, about 3 months out from camp. So it depends on the year, but it's that first week of June, Tuesday through Thursday, and that's again just a great time to come in and kind of do learning with us.
One more question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Can juniors apply or only sophomores?
For a 2-year lab, I'm assuming, probably like one of those.
I would probably, yeah.
Yeah. So as we talked about, you've got those 3 one-year programs, those 3 senior-only programs. So juniors are, of course, encouraged to apply for one of those if you're interested. You would apply as a junior. If you get in, you take it as a senior on a 1-year track. When it comes to our 2-year programs, I'm assuming this might be where the question originates. Right. You're more than welcome to apply if you're a junior, but it's very hard to get in. I'll be very honest with you. And the reason for that is most of our programs have wait lists right now. They're full. And so in that lottery process that we talked about earlier, our sophomores take priority in that process. So if you're a current sophomore applying for a 2-year lab, we are going to review your application before we review an application from a junior, for example. And so due to the competitiveness of many of these programs now, the ACC has become a school where most of our labs are full every year. It's very hard to get in. That said, and if you do get in, I'll put it this way too. You would be your first year, your level 1 year, you would be learning with juniors, which for some students is not a problem. Your second year, and it would be tuition free as a high school student. Your second year, however, if you want to continue into your second year in that program, you would technically have already graduated from your home high school, and you would likely be over the age of 18, which would mean you would be classified as an adult learner. So you would actually pay a tuition fee like all of our adult learners do, for that second year in that lab. So that's kind of what that would look like. Again, you're more than welcome to apply as a junior. But again, like I said, it would be hard to get in. And also, if you do get in, your time here would look a little bit different just from a tuition standpoint. But you're more than welcome to apply. Yes. Hopefully that makes sense. I just want to kind of lay that out for you very specifically. Yeah. Any more questions up here, Mary Ellen? You see
I
any?
don't have, no, I don't have any questions. And
Okay.
nope.
Well, thank you so much. I
Thank you.
want to be careful with everyone's time. It's noon. Thank you for attending this. Thank you for investing and learning more about options for your student in this community, and spending time with us, learning about DACC. Like we said earlier, you will get a copy of this recording in the coming days. And you're also added to our Explore newsletter email list. So you'll be hearing a lot from myself, Mary Ellen, and our team about upcoming opportunities to see us and visit our labs in person. And we'd love to have you out in person here at DACC if you haven't been already. I think that's all we got. And we will just kind of close by saying thank you again. I know you're busy, so thanks for spending your time with us. And we'll hope to see you here at DACC soon. Thank you.
Thank you.